once she opened up.
Tim, thank you for being with us today in the HUBurban as we ride around and talk about RTP, we talk about Hub, and talk about the future of the Triangle region. You are 100% a leader, not only in this region, but in the state, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. So,
well, thank you. I am really looking forward to this.
Yes.
The thought of doing a video like this while we're driving around is crazy to me.
Right.
And then also, you gave me my props, but I got to give you your props as being the best dressed man in the Triangle.
You know what? I will take that. It's a lot to live up to, but I won't fight you on it.
All right. Yeah, I just put some pressure on your wardrobe budget.
Yes. I will not fight you on it at all, and I'll try to keep up and live up to that. In 3 words, can you sum up what it means to live and to work in the Triangle?
Wow. 3 words. Inspiring, fun, and I'm going to go with interesting. Interesting.
Let's delve into interesting. Yes.
Well, let's say interesting because the Triangle is not a big, massive metropolitan area.
Right.
But geographically, it's a big area when you just look at it on the map.
Yes.
And you've got all the various universities here. You know, you've got great community colleges here. You've also got lots of different industries. You can't say it's dominated by one industry, or, you know, it's not just all tech, it's not just all ag, it's not just all healthcare, etc.
Right.
I've been in this area since I came up here to go to college, and when I look at the food in this area, it is really amazing. We got some great chefs, lots of great restaurants popping up.
Yes.
And then we've got a lot of good things to do. If you want to drive east or west, either way, you've got the mountains or the coast, the beach.
Yes.
And it's just a very, I have to call it, I call it interesting because there's just whatever your interests are, there's something you can do here.
The value add for our region is the fact that it is different, and that you do have these varying aspects. Sarah and I were even talking about just Durham in particular, and I was saying you can go from downtown Durham, being in this urban area, and go 5 minutes away and you're in a rural area. So regardless of what you like, you can find it right here in this region. But I think that diversity in institutions, you know, a lot of site selectors, when they look at this area, say, you know, the UNC system, the community college system, workforce development in this area is why they chose to come here. So from an IBM perspective, I know you're working on some amazing things with credentialing, and can you touch a little bit on that, what you can share with us, or the plans for that?
Yeah. We got a lot of good things going on. We have been trying to reimagine how we think about the workforce.
Yes.
And part of that is taking a skills first view versus a degree view. And this really takes down some what I call artificial barriers for people earning family sustaining wage jobs, and generational wealth building jobs. It takes down a lot of those barriers and opens it up for people that can do the jobs if they have the skills. And also we believe on, if you don't have the skills are easy to obtain.
That's right.
That's one of the reasons why we not only like the UNC system that we have here in all the schools, but we also love the community colleges because you can get your skills quickly.
That's right.
And you can focus on skills that are in need.
That's right.
For example, back when blockchain was becoming more prominent, nobody was coming out of a university with blockchain bachelor's degrees.
That's right.
So we worked with Wake Tech to create a zero to blockchain program, and we took some of our distinguished engineers to actually help teach the courses.
Yes.
So we were able to get skills real quickly, and the flexibility that the community college system had allowed us to do that.
Yeah.
We've changed the way we look at hiring. 50% of our jobs that we have posted do not require a degree.
Wow.
And I'm very proud of that.
Wow.
That we focus on the skills. In IT especially, things change so rapidly,
Yes.
right? So what's more important is your mindset. Are you going to be committed to continuously learning?
Yes.
Because whatever you learn is probably going to be outdated in 5 years anyway.
Right. Right. Just to lighten it up a little bit, let's go back in time.
All right.
Something that you could say to your younger self.
Oh gosh. Oh man. So we're traveling back in time. All
Yes.
right. Well, first of all, I would tell my younger self the winning lottery numbers. That's number one.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. I don't think anyone's thought of that one, so that's a good one.
I realized the power of great relationships and relationship building late in my career.
Yes.
I was probably 7, 8, 10 years in before I started realizing that relationships matter, and there's something that you have to work at.
Yes.
And you need to invest in them just like you invest in learning.
That's
You know,
right.
I was always invested in learning. My mom was an educator, so I always had that mindset of anytime you can learn something is good, but I didn't invest in relationships. The other thing that I would tell my younger self would be develop a long-term vision for yourself, for the business you're in, or the function that you're working in, etc. I used to be somebody that was on the treadmill, right? Just go, work hard, party hard too.
Right.
But work hard, party hard, and always thinking about what am I going to do today, tomorrow.
Yes.
That's it. And then at some point, I started to really think more strategically about myself, about long-term goals,
Yes.
about my strengths and about my weaknesses.
Yes.
Find a lot of value thinking about your weaknesses. And then I can start doing things to address that, and then that makes me better. When it comes to business, we're all so busy.
Yes.
I don't, probably anybody who's watching this video is probably taking time out of their busy day to watch it.
That's right.
And it's hard to focus on long term, but if you don't, business will pass you by and you'll be obsolete. And there are people that are out there thinking long term, that are being visionary and are thinking about how you can disrupt an industry.
Yes.
So you got to be with them. Let's take the founders of RTP.
Right.
They thought strategic.
6
right? Like,
decades. 6 decades. ago.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they were thinking strategic. They saw a bunch of land and trees, mostly pine trees,
Yes.
and said, "Man, this could be a place where innovation happens, where we can bring economic well-being to the whole entire area." And voila, we look back now and it's like, yeah, it was a no-brainer, but they had to think strategic.
Yes. Absolutely. Why RTP? Why Hub?
Well, we touched on this a little bit, but the education system we have, it's an asset. But you also have research,
Yes.
and a lot of research being done at UNC,
Yes.
at Duke, at Central, at A&T, at NC State.
Yes.
You have a lot of research done, and I think that's important because, at least in my simple view, right, innovation comes from problem solving. And typically, when you invest in research, you're trying to solve hard problems, right?
Yes. Complex.
Complex problems. And those solutions become the backbone of what we need for society and how our society progresses. So you have all this research in the area. It's a spark plug for innovation for people that are, maybe they're not doing research, but they're thinking about what society needs or what an industry needs. You put that together, and that's really why
Yes.
RTP, because everybody here knows somebody that's working on the next thing.
That's right.
Whether they're a researcher in one of the university labs, or they're an entrepreneur, or whatever. Everybody knows somebody in this area that's working on the next thing, right? I could probably rattle off 10 people that are working on the next thing.
Yes.
That to me is the heart and soul of why.
One of the things that I think is the most interesting about IBM is really that no degree, no problem. And I think too, not only what it's created for folks in Durham and folks in the community, but I think it creates this accessibility to the park. We have so many people that feel like they don't have a place at the park, or because they don't have a degree, they can't see themselves here. And I think that's one of the things we're working so hard to kind of reinvent, is that accessibility to the park and that everyone belongs here. So I find that super interesting and exciting. What's most exciting for you for IBM coming up?
That's hard. There's a lot of things. I'll focus on one program that I'm heavily involved in for the company, a consortium of other companies that have joined together for a movement we call 110. This is about hiring 1 million Black United States citizens into family-sustaining wealth jobs that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten.
Right.
And we want to do that, hiring of 1 million over the next 10 years. So very lofty goal. Yes. And I'm not talking about the person that's graduating from your alma mater.
Right.
Because they were already going to get it.
Right.
Right. So when you talk about access, we're talking about the person that's not graduating from North Carolina A&T or Central, or shout out to Fayetteville State.
There you go.
My hometown school. And I'm excited about this because it changes the generational wealth gap that we have. But I'm also excited about it because I think it's time we make STEM jobs sexy.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
I want, and I think this is an opportunity to make it so that people see themselves in these types of jobs. I think that's one of the biggest problems, right? I lucked into becoming an engineer. I didn't see myself as an engineer when I was a kid. I saw myself as, starting small forward for the LA Lakers.
I was right behind you. I was playing shooting guard.
Yeah, I was gonna go continue the tradition of Showtime.
That's right.
And I just don't think we have a lot of examples,
right,
especially for underrepresented minorities, of people doing well in STEM fields. Right. And I focus on STEM because, one, I have a bias, being an engineer, but also there's not a high barrier to entry, right? Like it is easy, and there's an abundance of jobs, and every year STEM jobs go unfilled. Right? Like every year, every company has tons of STEM jobs that they didn't fill. There's a demand for the there's a demand for the jobs, and there's not enough supply.
That's right.
So why not go to these jobs, and then you start changing? These are high-paying jobs, right? And you start changing wealth.
Yes. And
once you start changing wealth, good things happen for generations and generations and generations. So I'm really excited. Just get back to your question about the efforts that we have here locally for 110. We've got a lot of great companies with us that are joining together, and we are, everybody's on a different place in their journey.
Yes.
So we're all working together to learn from one another. How do you go about changing the job profiles in your company? How do you go about having those discussions around, we need to have, not just go to the same schools that we always went to, not just go to the same sources, not just automatically say, oh, this job requires a master's degree. Does it really? Right? Does it really? Like I said, we're going to make some breakthroughs in quantum computing. I think those jobs require a PhD.
Right.
I'm not so sure every single job in IBM, well, as a matter of fact, not so sure. I know every single job in IBM doesn't require that.
Right.
And it requires skills. It's the skills that we have to focus on. So I'm hopeful that, together we can look back at, and you talked about going into time machine and going back.
Yes.
I'm hopeful that, we'll be able to take the time machine to the future and look back and say, hey, this was like an inflection point.
Yes.
And we were part of it. So I'm excited about that. So you can tell, like, it really lights a passion for me. I stay busy. I have a crazy schedule, but anytime we got something around 1:10 on the calendar, I'm like, ooh, I'm excited. I'm like a little kid. I'm like a kid before Christmas when I'm looking at my calendar the night before. Like, all right, 1:10 tomorrow. What are we gonna do? Like, let's get this thing going, right? And,
Right.
I'm like 10 years. I don't know if I got 10 years, so I want to make it happen. I want to make it happen faster.
Amazing. Well, we thank you for your excitement. We thank you for everything that you're doing in RTP, that you're doing in Hub, that IBM is continuing to do along that long line of tradition that they set a long time ago. You brought up STEM and people looking like you in STEM and envisioning yourself in the part. I want to say congratulations and well deserved on the governor actually recognizing you as a STEM leader for the state. And I think as long as you continue on this path and continue your excitement, that just has no other choice but to resonate out into everyone else. And we will see more folks in the STEM field because of people like yourself.
Well, thank you. I've always said if I can touch one person, then I'm doing something right. So thank you for that. It's an honor. Growing up as a little kid in Fayetteville, I never thought I'd be getting a recognition from the governor for something that, I just feel like it's my responsibility to be a role model, to push for change, to mentor.
Yes.
I just feel like that's what I owe. That's what I owe to society. I was very privileged. Came from a house with two parents, mom that was focused on education.
Yes.
And while there was crime, drugs, violence around, and I didn't get in that because of my parents, and I'm very thankful for that, and I just consider myself fortunate. So I hope, like I said, I can touch. I'm always thinking, who can I touch next?
Yes.
Who can I make an impact on? Small, big, doesn't matter.
Right. Well, we thank you for spending time with us in the HUBurban, and again, thank you for everything that you're doing.
Yeah, my pleasure. What a cool concept. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Tim.
Take care.